FX presents Snowfall, the final season.
Snowfall, Season 6, Episode 9, Sacrifice. Boy, was there some sacrifice in this episode. This episode starts with the shits. Louie is packing up some bags in their $1 million mansion and hands them to her driver and asks for 5 minutes. She gets a page while walking upstairs, and Franklin informs her that the DEA is on their way to raid her. Franklin attempts to warn her, but they are already there. Louie tries her best to dip the fuck out, and dip she does.
Hey, he good even said anything to her.
Yeah.
Good, she good even said anything to her, because her ass, 5 minutes, she'd have been up there fucking around with her makeup in her room or some shit.
Facts.
While the police on their way up the stairs.
Big facts. Oso and Franklin have Teddy and KGB Man in the trunk. Franklin, not being a Caucasian barbarian, chains Teddy to the chair and duct tapes his mouth. No noose. Teddy warns that Franklin doesn't want to do this and that working with the KGB is a bad idea. Franklin's not paying attention to none of that dumb shit, and he tells Teddy that the bank opens up in the morning and he needs to make that call as soon as they open, and if not, he's getting capped. Teddy tells Franklin to be sensible, but we passed all that dumb shit.
Sensible?
Been gone, motherfucker.
Sensible? He's sensible.
Franklin,
we gonna get to what he really means by be sensible in a second.
Yeah.
We gonna get to what he really means by be sensible. It ain't really be reasonable. It's why don't you realize your place is what it really is.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Effion00 says, yo, Franklin and Teddy dialogue was epic, but I really did not want Cissy to... I'm not going to give anything away yet. Hold that thought.
Hey, Effion, somebody had to do it, goddamn. Been waiting 2 seasons, okay? Since Brother Alton went to the ancestors, okay? Somebody had to do it, goddamn. No, somebody had to do it.
Alton's just on the island chilling somewhere like Tupac.
The fuck he is.
Franklin and Oso then chain up KGB Man, but leaves the duct tape off of his mouth, and then puts a burlap sack over his head as well. V calls and then confirms with Franklin that everything has worked. Cissy and Leon show up, and Cissy tells them that the 2 men being in the room is a bad move. Franklin asks Leon to move bro to the garage when he leaves. Franklin then states that he made a promise and he intends to keep it, so he and Oso dip out.
First thing is very neat getting on the phone with Franklin and not saying anything about them contractions that we seen her have at the end of the last episode, which is weird. But then again, if she had lost the baby or had the baby, ain't no way she's standing up, walking around, doing all the shit that she was doing in this episode. It's impossible.
Facts.
It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. It's pretty much impossible.
Oh, for sure.
For her, the within hours. So like at first I was thinking, oh, she not showing up. And she didn't tell you that she went into labor or had contractions. She's not showing the fuck up. She's already gone. But then she shows up.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I don't know.
Okay.
Weird. I guess
that was weird. It was definitely weird.
Yeah.
So the only thing that seemed a little bit inconsistent, I feel like, with this episode was what Cissy actually wanted out of this situation to a certain degree. So she comes in and she asks Franklin, she like, it seems like she's at peace with the idea that Reed's gonna die here. Mm-hmm. Right? And then we see it shift a little bit towards his end of the stay there, and then we go somewhere completely where we didn't necessarily expect it to go towards the end of the episode. So it was like an evolving viewpoint for her, but she was very, very strong about trying to pull Franklin to her side at each time. It was like, okay, well, you wanted this when you walked in. You wanted this towards the middle of this. And then now, ultimately, you... that's a hell of a way to send us off.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely. But
it didn't really seem like she wanted the same thing at each point that she was asking Franklin to step back. It was like, oh, I want him dead. Oh, I want him to get, taken, arrested by the, I guess we'll get in the meat of that. But it was like, well, if you want him arrested, does it matter who arrests him? Or if you want him captured in some way, does it really matter who captures him? So it got a little weird at certain spots, but all in all, chef's kiss of an episode.
For sure. And we'll detail kind of, I guess, what she's thinking about at each point, like you said, but
yeah.
Just wanted to kind of highlight what was happening
at this point. She's walking in and she's expecting Reed to die in this chair. Yeah. Is where we're at.
Yep. And she is right that having them in the same room was a little wild. Having KGB man who's always plotting and Teddy's plotting ass together.
What exactly are they going to do?
They're going to sit there and plot and try to figure out a way to get out of this somehow.
Okay, let's spitball. Let's spitball. How do they do that?
Even if they're not successful, they're going to sit there and try to figure it out while he's gone.
Okay, let's have some ideas. What could they possibly do to get out of this situation?
Considering the both of them at least tried to get out afterwards, using Cissy specifically, lying to her, they could have came up with something. I wouldn't have wanted them in the same room at the very least. That's all I'm saying.
At that point, I don't think it mattered. I don't think Reed was leaving out of that room until he gave Franklin some money. So I don't think it mattered. KGB man was literally only there for cover or having a bargaining chip with the CIA, right? So nothing you talking to me. I'm not making no deals with you, boy. You are bait. Right. And I'm not making no deals with you. You can't convince me to make any deals with you because there's no deal that's more advantageous than the leverage that I have at the moment. Reed is ultimately fucked. You're either about to give me my money or you're going to die. Those are the only two options. There's no deal to be made here. So it was like there's no opportunity. There's no conceivable reason for me to let either one of y'all go free with an opportunity to do nothing. He even told the dudes to shit on themselves. He said, if you got piss, you got shit, go ahead. Ain't nobody unlocking you. We're not taking you nowhere. Right. We're not even about to have the slightest opportunity for you to use your expertise against nobody in this building. You're going to sit there in that chair. You're going to give me my money or you're going to die in that chair.
But I think we know Franklin is focused on that money. So he is not going to be swayed very easily. Cissy very clearly has some things that...
But she's not in control. She's not the shot caller. She ain't no decision maker. As she showed 3 times in this episode, she has no influence over Franklin. She cannot make Franklin do shit. And the only person that's making decisions there is Franklin.
But she's the temporary person there in charge, though. For the time being.
They knew she wasn't about to cut him loose. Wasn't about to let him go. And Leon wasn't about to let him go.
Leon also has some things
what opportunity would they have had to get away?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't want them in the same room. That's all. I wouldn't want them in the same room together.
I don't even know why it's advantageous for them to work with each other at that point. Like
to make it out alive.
My government wants you dead. Oh, my government wants you dead. The very second that either one of them is free, the other person's life is at immediate jeopardy. So why would they help each other at that point?
Because they want to make it out of this situation alive. Maybe they're desperate to make it out of this specifically alive.
I don't know. It didn't show itself to be a factor in this episode. And I didn't really think it from everything that we got from the two characters, Ruben and Reed, and what their missions are, what their objectives are. It didn't make a whole lot of sense for them to be like, all right, let's team up to get out of here and then we'll deal with this later. It's like, nah. I'm almost as much, I'm in as much danger with this person as I am Franklin. He's my target. Yeah. He is the objective. So like, it doesn't behoove me.
Yeah, no, it didn't play out that way. I'm just saying, I'm going to make sure it doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. Hydroglyphic says Veronica's leaving with the bag, which, I mean, that was one of my predictions early on. So,
how's she going to get it? It's in the escrow. How's she going to get it?
Now, at this point, she going to get it? Knowing what we know now.
How the hell she going to get it?
Polo Boy says Glad Oso made it out a true day one. Absolutely.
Hey, I told y'all. My boy Oso made it out.
A couple more scenes. Troy Spencer says OG Cissy saying was flip-flopping a little bit, which...
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
Route Irish, a new name to the chat, says, why would Alton go peacefully to a PR prison anyway? No way.
This shit ain't even sound right. It sound like bullshit. I never even believed it when he said Alton's not dead. I'm like, boy, you don't want to get beat up. That's what it is. You was one of the weakest agents when it came to torture in your class. I could tell.
Yeah,
I can tell. My man's barely made. He didn't even make it through a whole 24 hours. That's weak.
That's a fact.
Weak. John McCain had all of his fingernails torn off.
Oof. Yikes.
Teddy's weak.
I would have been singing day one too. I'm just throw that out there. Louis must have called up Buckley, which, yeah, she did. I don't know why I said must have. Of course, Louis is mad at Franklin again. Like, come on, bruh. You mad because Franklin put you here? No. Franklin told you that they were coming and warned you and got you out of the house. Louis says she's got a spot in Ohio with a mill, and Buckley demands half to help her out. Crackhead shit. Crackhead shit. I mean, it's $500,000, so I mean, yeah.
Man, nigga, he was like, $500,000. You know how much crack that is? Oh my God, yeah, we're going to Ohio, baby.
Oh man. Says high in the name. He got excited as hell. KGB man can tell Cissy is in the room, and he tries to play Cissy and tell her that Franklin is in trouble. Cissy's not dumb, so she seems to not be listening to his dumb shit. But then KGB man says the KGB has videos of Franklin and that his superiors have their hands on said videos.
You know now, right? You know for sure that he's blowing smoke. And at the minute that y'all give Teddy to him, then you're going to lose Franklin. So how we come to another conclusion that we come to at a certain point in this saga, I don't understand clearly. I don't get it. But she seems pretty clear on where everybody stands at this moment.
Yeah. Turns out Cissy knows that KGB man on bullshit, but she's aware that he still may be telling the truth, so she's in a rock and a hard place. Cissy then takes Teddy's burlap sack off. She asks what happened to Alton. Teddy thinks because he got the money that he makes the rules, but he is currently locked up, so I don't really think so. Cissy lays a bunch of guilt on bro, being that he murdered Alton and flooded the streets with crack, and Teddy becomes the ultimate white man in this scene.
Do I rock it up? Do I make these addicts? Oh my God! I wanted her to pull the gun out right there.
You know,
that's when I wanted her to abstract right there. Did I make these? Yes. Yes, you strategically place kilos of pure cocaine in some of the poorest neighborhoods in Los Angeles for the implicit reason of creating a addict-driven product that you could perpetuate to help you fund a war in South America. So yes. You specifically did that. Yes.
Knowing that these poor black folks have no resources to get cocaine from Colombia and other places. Like, yeah, you did it.
Then you found one of the only motherfuckers who's rocking up cocaine at the time, hit him with your car, kidnapped him, forced him to sell crack to people for you. Yep. So yes, you absolutely. Most of the time I would say drug dealers, nah, they're not putting the drugs in your hand. You know what I'm saying? Drugs kind of sell themselves. No. You set up a plan. You got the coke. You found a nigga to move the coke. You found a nigga to help you sell some gun. Not the nigga, the Shalom, the holy man, to help you move the guns, and you was running this gambit. It was all you. Who could say that if the CIA wasn't funding these type of operations all over the country, that we ever have a crack epidemic? If we don't have a government entity supplying the main product for the drug that's causing the epidemic, maybe we don't have an epidemic at all.
Well, again,
so yes,
they don't have the resources to get these drugs anywhere else. Yeah, absolutely. Probably wouldn't be an epidemic.
Not to mention, you killed my dad. You stole my money. What the fuck does any of that have to do with anything? What the fuck that got to do with anything? All that money out. He was taking a percentage. He was taking points.
Yeah.
All the money they were making, 75% of that was going to you. You was already making money hand over fist. Mm-hmm. And he bullshitted up until the very last moment as to why he actually did it.
Yep.
And I thought it was we'll get there. We're going to get there.
All right. After becoming Stan Smith from American Dad, he attempts to place guilt back on Cissy. Cissy is being manipulated everywhere because Teddy then claims that Alton is still alive in a Puerto Rican jail cell, which was
Bullshit.
cap.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Never believed it for a second.
Franklin gets Oso to where he needs to go in order to flee for safety. Oso wants to make sure Teddy doesn't come for him. After asking what he's going to do when he leaves, Franklin suggests wrestling, and they have a nice little full circle moment. Because that's how they met.
And my man's made it out.
Yes.
And my man's made it out. He gonna find his family. He gonna find Lucia. Lucia, I want you to meet my family.
I don't think that's
be my family and my wife.
But, you know.
You can also be my wife.
Yo. In the middle of getting her to Ojai, Buckley says he's got to piss, leaving Louie as a sitting duck, but she's not dumb. So she finds a gun and then demands his pager and finds that Jerome did actually page him. Louie then demands his keys and tells him that there ain't no spot in Ojai or money in the stash. Got his dumbass, crackhead ass.
Hey, imagine having that monkey on your back so bad that you need to pull over on the freeway to go smoke some crack. And I've never seen I can't say that I'm proficient in the ways of smoking crack. But the way he hit that shit, boy, I was like, did he put it in the blunt for a second? But then I seen the ball at the end. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's crazy. Nigga shook that bitch up.
Left the gun in the car and everything. Let the car running. I'm gonna hit this.
Bozo, absolute loser. And you should have put a cap in his ass. You just shot him right there. The hell with his kids.
Right.
Fuck them kids.
Franklin pulls up on Teddy, pulls the burlap sack over his head, and is polite enough to give him some water. Teddy asks how much he paid for Oso to turn on him, and Franklin ain't got time for the bullshit. He then calls him out for manipulating him, and even goes so far as to claim he doesn't give a shit about whether or not Alton is dead or not. Teddy claims he doesn't know the account numbers, and Franklin plays a game of Russian roulette with him. Teddy wonders if Franklin is using blanks, and Franklin shoots one in the air, and Teddy realizes how bad this nigga is not capping. Cissy comes into the room to stop him. It would seem Franklin and Cissy have a game of good cop, bad cop, even if they don't know it.
Hey, look, Cissy. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You walked in here, you're gonna die here. Okay, talk to Ruben. Well, if I turn him over to Ruben, he just gonna burn us, so we can't do that. Okay. Talk to Teddy. Oh, Alton's alive. Okay, let's just give him to the KGB. Let's just give him to the KGB, Franklin. That's what we need to do. I thought Franklin was done for if you gave him to the KGB. I thought y'all was done if you gave him to the KGB. What the hell happened? Yep. What are we doing? What is this? What is back? I mean, unless she secretly planned to kill him when like, okay, boom, Alton's alive. Okay, if you lying to me, I'm gonna kill you. If you lying to me, I'm gonna kill you. Unless she made that decision right then at that point, at which case she would have to have him outside of, or she needed him alive to find out if he's lying or not, obviously. Yep. And they need to have some type of control over how it's going to go down. So if she give him to the KGB, she can question him one last time, just like she did with the CIA, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't get what her beef was with it being the CIA versus the KGB. Somebody gonna have to explain that to me.
Yeah, I got nothing. Cissy asks Franklin to let it all go, and she just wants to see if they can get the tapes from the KGB for Teddy. Cissy gets told that she's too late from preventing Franklin from being a killer, which was nuts. Lee confirms.
People I killed.
It's facts, but it was just nuts that he had to tell her like that. Anyway, Lee confirms that what Cissy is saying is right because he did kill Scully's girl after all, so he would know. Franklin confirms to them that he will get his money back because everybody breaks at some point, which, boy, do they.
It's that sunken cost. You gotta, at some point, you gotta cut it. You have to cut the line at some point. Yep. Or else that thing is going to drag you in. It's like a marlin out in the middle of the sea. That thing's going to pull you under.
Yeah. Yep.
Cut the line, fam. You can just feel it. You can feel it going bad. Yeah. The crazier he gets, the less likely it feels like he's actually going to get what he wants, and that he's just going to end up pissing off more people around him. It feels that way now.
He's alienating the people who love him the most at this point.
Sure.
That's the drug game, I feel like. Anyway, Franklin is so wired up that when he hears V walk up the stairs, he pulls a gun on her. Apparently, Franklin is now bouncing checks to pay his mortgage, meaning that nigga is broke.
Well, I mean, he not normal person broke, but he's like millionaire broke.
He's bouncing
the mortgage for the downtown property, not his house.
But
the downtown property.
Sure.
That mortgage is probably $100,000. So he not bouncing a $1,400 check like me and you. He bouncing $100,000.
Absolutely. But bouncing a check is still broke.
He's rich people broke. He ain't normal broke.
The downtown property is in danger, and lenders may start asking for big bread. V brings out the corn oil.
Hey, yo, what the fuck was you and your mama doing? How you know better torture tactics than me? I'm a gangster. But you know what? Up until that point, though, I was really asking. I was like, so are we going to turn up the heat? You going to, like, stab him in the leg or beat him up, punch him, pistol whip him, something?
Literally.
Because up until that point, they hadn't done shit.
Literally turns up the heat.
Yeah. No, they made some kettle corn.
V tells a story about her
scamming Canadian bacon.
Yo, chill out. V tells a story about her scamming ass mama, and the moral of the story is that hot oil burns the fuck out of human skin. Teddy begs Franklin not to hit him with the hot oil, but it doesn't work.
Bam, give me my bread. What? Yo, I swear to God, man. And when they really get to it, it doesn't make complete sense. Like it's not logical. I don't think any reasonable person would go there, but it lets you know how lonely certain people are in this world and how far they will go to try to, like, clearly Reed is a broken person, right? Yeah. And so he doesn't really know how to interact like a normal human being. He can't seek normal relationships. He can't foster normal relationships. He had a wife. He has a son. He's estranged with both. Estranged with his brother for many years until he brings him back and gets him killed. Yeah. Father hates him, won't speak to him now. Like, he is not, that's why him and Marissa work, is because he's not used to fostering typical relationships, and Marissa is a weirdo. So they're a match made in them.
Absolutely weirdo. Speaking of Marissa shows up to meet with the CIA handler Havermeyer. He tells her that he's not here. He tells her that Teddy's not here, and she asks who he is. That's when he tells her that he needs all of the information about the last time she spoke with Teddy, because obviously he's missing. We go back to Teddy, and Teddy looks like morning toast with strawberry jelly, but he still hasn't broke. That shit is crazy. That shit.
Yo, that shit was nuts. That shit was nuts.
Mans tells him why he stole from Franklin, which was all bullshit. Because again, he's telling everybody bullshit about why he stole.
Oh, it's my money, and I do what I want with it. Bullshit. Again, bro, you got your cut. And like he was taking all this money himself. You got your cut. This is what I earned. So what? Are you literally trying to argue that I'm your slave? Is that what's happening right now? Every dollar I make belongs to you, and if you decide that I no longer need money, then that's just the way it is? No, not really. Not really. Because even though I do think there's a hint of white privilege and a little bit of white supremacy in what Reed is going on, I think most of that part of it is a cover for what the actual reason is that Reed is a very lonely person who doesn't have very many genuine human connections in life. Franklin was one of those genuine human connections because they kind of are one and the same. They're kind of the same person. Franklin does the same shit in the middle of this, right? Yeah. He says the same stuff. Like, yo, I actually thought we was friends. Like, I actually thought that, like, we would, like, eventually grow to tell old stories together and have picnics with our kids. Like, I felt like we earned so much money together. We broke bread together. I felt like we was cool. Reed feels the same way about Franklin.
You know what's very interesting about all of that is that they eventually both came up thinking that what they were doing in some way, shape, or form was right. Teddy thought what he was doing was right for his country, and in some way, shape, or form, helping his country. And Franklin thought he was helping his hood. He thought in some way, shape, or form, he was bringing back resources.
That's how it started, right?
Well,
that's how it started for both of them.
Both of them got
and
corrupted.
Then eventually it became more about the power, the ego, the influence, and them personally, where they felt like they were on the same track. They both had the same motivations. They didn't really think it was ever going to deviate. Mm-hmm. But the minute Franklin decides, okay, it's time to go legitimize and get out of this shit, that's when Reed loses it. That's interesting because they pull apart based off of what it is that they're fighting for, or what they were fighting for, I guess, at some point. Because the interest of what they were fighting for pulls apart, and it literally pulls them apart. All right. Troy Spencer says Teddy had the nerve to say it's my money, which, again, that was that hint of white supremacy I was talking about. Yeah. It's my money, and if I decide, oh man, I'd have poured it on his head.
You know.
You'd have looked like a chicken nugget today.
Route Irish says Teddy absolutely looked at Franklin as someone beneath him, wholeheartedly, absolutely. Yeah. But at the same
time, I think that he saw Franklin as a friend, but. Even still, you'll see, man, if you haven't seen it to this point, maybe you won't see it, but you'll see it sometimes where maybe you do have a friend that you feel like you're above, and that you feel like you're doing better than at the moment. Maybe they even make you feel better about your situation by how they are relative to you, right? But the minute they start doing better, or the minute that they aren't the same person that was introduced to you, or the same person that made you feel better about you, then now it's time to cut that person off. Oh, that person's acting funny. That person switched up. They're different. Only because they leveled up and they're no longer the person that makes you feel better about your life and your shortcomings. That's what it is. Yeah. Right? So, but instead of a broke friend, it's a black friend for Reed. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, hey, yo, you black. Like, yeah, we cool and I like you and all, but you still black, so stay in your place. That's what it is. But I think he really liked him, and when he said he was leaving, it fucked him up because he didn't look at him the same way he looked at his dad, his brother, his ex-wife, his son. He looked at him as somebody who actually gets him. Yeah. Right? And we know Reed is lonely as shit because when he was talking to Ruben 2 episodes ago, he was like, man, it's crazy, but ever since you've been here, I low-key felt like it was somebody else in here that understands me. And it's been weird because I lost the other person who I was doing that before, and I took all his money, and now he wants to kill me, but that's a long story. But in any case, I really do think that Reed was genuinely hurt, and because he's such a broken individual and he doesn't know how to handle that type of feeling, his reaction, instead of ignoring him or saying petty shit to him online under his Instagram pictures or some shit, he stole $70 million from him. And that's like the equivalent of ghosting your friend. You say what?
Instagram was not also a thing in 1986. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was no social media for him to subtweet him on or anything like that. So he stole 70 mil from him. He turned his lights on.
I was going to say, yeah, please do that. Effion also mentions that Franklin was essentially just the help and the alibi when all this goes up in smoke, essentially. So he was supposed to be the guy who takes the fall after all this too.
Well, it's kind of hard for the fall guy to have a fall guy, right? It's a little, but I think that he eventually became that. Yeah. For Reed, right? Because I mean he's showing him a lot of stuff he doesn't need to show him if he's just a cover, right? Introducing him to Ivy, teaching him how to fly planes, setting him up with the overseas bank accounts, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. His money is much easily accessible, or much more accessible in an American bank than it ever would be in the Caymans. Yep. Like him knowing that it's in the Caymans doesn't make it easier to get it than it would if it was in an American bank. Yeah. So, I think it eventually became that once Franklin became of some size. and Reed I feel like we've seen signs of Reed trying to kind of knock Franklin back into his place because he's growing faster than what Reed expected.
Mhm.
And so when that started to compound itself, and after the whole saga with the reporter and Alton and all that, it kind of came to a head. And then for that to be in Reed's mind, and then he come up to you and be like, "Yo, I'm leaving." Nah, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna steal all your money.
Yep.
I think I'm stealing all.
Yeah. Teddy claims he wanted to hurt Franklin because he left him. Teddy then comes to the compromise of splitting the money. It's an interesting proposition, but there is no way Franklin can actually trust Teddy to hold up his side after all he's done to get Teddy, even if being alive for Parissa's love does mean that much to him. Teddy then lets Franklin know the account numbers are written on his wallet, so I guess at this point he has no choice but to trust Teddy.
Yeah, no, he's serious. Okay, cool. So let's do it. Let's set it up. But guess who has a damn problem with it? I thought you just said you wanted to give him up. You didn't want me to kill him. I was getting ready to shoot him in the head a minute ago. What's going on? What's the problem?
Yep. Franklin has arranged for Teddy to be dropped to Habermeyer with information on the KGB. Cissy is pissed off because Franklin is allowing Teddy to go for half of the jackpot. She even tells V to shut up, which I thoroughly enjoyed. For what it's worth, Cissy ain't all the way wrong. Franklin is broke and desperate, obviously. Cissy claims that she's done, and she doesn't want to ever see Franklin again, which Franklin states that he's okay with. Yeah, I didn't think Cissy was all the way wrong because of all the things that Franklin had done up to this point for just half, but that wasn't her point, though. She was just concerned.
I don't think it was her, but it's still confusing because you just got done telling me let's just give them to the KGB and let them figure it out. What's the difference? Well, I can tell you what the difference is. The difference is $37 million. But why is that such a bad look at everything we've been through?
And that's her point, I think, at the same time, is that we've been through all of this shit. Like, is this really what we're doing? I don't know. At some level, she's kind of right, but she's not all the way right. I don't rock with her the whole way. I
just don't get it. I don't get it why it was like, okay, dead, KGB, not KGB, dead.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I just wanted him to go for the full $75 million. I'm just like, dog, you did all this shit. Get the $75 million. But I understand.
At some point, we would have started taking stuff off. We would have just started taking fingers, feet. Yeah. Like, hey, look, man, we're gonna have to turn this up because my mortgage payment is due. You know what I'm saying? So, no more talking.
Absolutely.
No more talking.
Cissy drives Teddy and Franklin to the spot. After walking up to the handler and Teddy initiating the call to the bank for the transfer, Cissy walks up to Teddy and asks the prison that Alton is in. Now, right here, Teddy has a few choices. He can answer this question truthfully and in so doing it politely or savagely. He can also ignore the question. He could tell her a lie, but there's really one of those options that will get the result that happens next. Teddy answers honestly but savagely, letting her know brutally honestly that he was lying in her face just to save his own life and that Alton is indeed dead and how he did it. Cissy walks off for a second, seemingly collecting her thoughts, while Teddy continues the conversation and then bop, bop, bop. Cissy done shot this man before he could utter the password to complete the transfer. Cissy.
OG. Cissy. Saint. You not about to live, fam. The only criticism, ma'am, just let him say the password. Why did you let him get that close? You let him get that close. Just let him say it.
Bruh.
Like, she literally waited till this man said, and the password is blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
You could have shot him, and so many opportunities in between here and when y'all met up with Habermeyer. There's no reason why you had to just let him say the password. And then, oh my God. And then Franklin dropping to his knees like Octavia Spencer holding old girl at the end of How to Get Away with Murder was fucking perfect. Like, fam, your mother's going to jail for life. You over here crying over Reed. This is fucking hilarious.
Crying over
was
37 million.
No, but the optics of it was real. Stephen holding Mr. Candy and Candyland.
For sure.
Oh, Mr. Kelvin! Oh, Lord!
Not the white man. Nah, for sure.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
He was crying over the 37 million.
Of course he was, but the optics was just funny. Funny as hell.
Yeah.
OG Saint is a thug, and she had to get it back for Alton. Somebody had to, because Franklin just told you he didn't give a fuck. Franklin just told you he didn't care. So somebody had to get it back from my man's.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sorry that we didn't get your money, Franklin. But if you wasn't gonna kill Reed, first of all, you promised also that he was gonna die. You promised also he was gonna die.
He did.
Yeah. I put my man's life at risk.
Yeah, no.
He was definitely about to go kill Oso.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, for sure. Why wouldn't he?
He was gonna kill Oso.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that Cissy got her justice though. And got justice for Alton. And Teddy's dead. Teddy's dead, right?
He's dead. Oso saved. Louis on the run. Man. I'm doing great right now, as long as Veronique show up with that baby. And now, if we'll really complete something immaculate if we can get Franklin his damn money. Get him his baby, get him his money, and it will have been the most picture-perfect finish for a gangster drug dealer kingpin that we've seen.